Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining this session. So here we'll be talking about the things that you should know if you're applying for MS in US for fall 2022. I hope I'm perfectly audible to you guys. So first of all, thank you so much for joining this session. I would like to start this session with a brief introduction of GyanDhan. We are basically an education loan financing platform, and we help students with education loan for higher studies abroad. If you guys need any help in future regarding education loan, then please reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you understand more about the financing, about studies abroad, and hope you'll get the service that you desire. So here, I would like to first thank and welcome Divya Srinivas. She has joined us today, and she'll be guiding you guys about everything that you need to know about applying, about the admission process for MS in US for fall 2022. Yes, Divya, can you hear me?
Yes, Ashish, thank you for the introduction.
Thanks. Over to you.
Thank you, Ashish. Good evening, everyone, and we are happy to present to you today. In this extremely constantly changing world, opportunities to go and advance your careers abroad. A brief introduction. My name is Divya Srinivas. I'm the Global Admissions Head at Galvanize Test Prep. I have earned my master's at the University of New Mexico in the United States. Subsequently, I completed a PhD at the University of New Mexico. My master's was at the University of Missouri, and PhD was at the University of New Mexico. So I attended two different universities in the US, and I spent 10 years there. And now I absolutely enjoy sending people to further advance that journey. It really was a wonderful time in my life to have had the opportunity to study abroad, and now that I've come back, it's my true passion, and I would say it's a passion of everyone at Galvanize Test Prep to enable other students to realize their ultimate potential by enjoying their study abroad journey. So we are happy to discuss the possibilities with you today. So to begin with, what does Galvanize Test Prep do? And we are associated with the GyanDhan because we both share a common interest in education, and education requires many things for you to fulfill your aspirations, and together we seek to support you end to end and sort of be your partner in this journey from when you start your test prep. And as you may know already or are finding out, there are many universities that require certain admissions tests, entrance tests. We offer personalized test prep for SAT, GRE, TOEFL, and IELTS. So those would be some preliminary steps that you need to take in order to qualify for admissions abroad. TOEFL and IELTS is required by pretty much every English-speaking country where you seek admission. Subsequently, there are other tests like SAT for undergraduate students and GRE for graduate students, and we help you with the test preparation. And then we will assist you with other aspects of the admissions counseling as well, selecting the right university, preparing your essays, queries about applying can all be extremely daunting. To do it all the way from here and all alone. When you join with us, you don't have to be alone. You have experts who guide you through your journey because we have been through that journey ourselves. And then fundamentally, it is important to be financially prepared for your journey also. While education is an investment, in your life and in your future and in your ability to earn in the future, you still have to be financially prepared for that journey so that there are no surprises that keep you from achieving your truest potential. So all aspects of this journey through this partnership, we are able to deliver to you. Galvanize was founded and managed by Harvard, Stanford, IIT Madras, and IIM Ahmedabad alumni, and we work with a very holistic team in order to deliver these services to you. So Galvanize Test Prep, we have 700,000 plus users from 195 countries and we've achieved a rating of 4.7 out of 5. So we are one of the best GRE online programs, and you will be able to complete your entire GRE test prep program from the comfort of your home or your office. You can even download our app on our phone and learn on the go when you're waiting on your commute or waiting for any services. You can just sit and browse through your phone and learn as you are even traveling. Right? So we make learning very, very, very convenient, and our rating speaks for itself. We have students from across the globe, as you can see. We've covered 65 plus countries. So you should see that, and we've sent students to 1,000 plus universities across this many countries. So it's fantastic opportunity for you to be able to come and learn with us, not only strategies to improve your test scores, but also understand from the journey that we ourselves have successfully experienced by ourselves and through our students, how you can achieve your goals. So these are some of the universities where we have helped our students succeed, and you can see that the list is endless. And that's because we have covered universities all across the globe. And why most of our students come to study STEM related subjects, because STEM related subjects are most in demand, especially now post pandemic. We expect that STEM related subjects are going to be more in demand as more and more functionalities across industries are going in for automation and cloud computing and things like that. So we do expect that more reliance on technology is what we will expect to see in the post-pandemic world. And that is the demand that universities are also going to cater to create professionals for tomorrow who are prepared for the challenges, technological challenges of tomorrow. So we do expect to see a lot of this. So as I have already introduced myself, I'm Divya Srinivas, University of Missouri, University of New Mexico, now with Galvanize Test Prep. So US tends to be our most popular destination. In the hundreds of universities that I've shared with you earlier, about 90% or more of our students go to the US. And the reason for that is shouldn't be surprising. The US is has some of the most highest ranked institutions in the world. They have the most ethnically and socially diverse, not just student body, but overall population. So students who attend universities have exposure to cultures from across the world. So that experience of being in a global environment is really, exciting and thrilling to a lot of students. But the fact that, a lot of our students come from an English medium of education, it becomes very easy for them to study, learn, and grow within an English language framework. And that's another advantage that the US offers. You don't have to learn a new language. Although I have to say I have met many Chinese students or Chinese peers and students. I used to study and I also taught when I was in the US. And I've met many Chinese students and peers who are so brave. They come to an English-speaking country with no knowledge of English. They learn the language and they succeed in a foreign culture with such ingenuity that the United States is one of those countries where migrants can go, learn, succeed, and contribute to the growth of the country and the economy. And that is why the US is such an exciting destination, and has always been such an exciting destination for a good majority of our students. And the CPT and OPT opportunities that the United States offers is a great benefit, especially to our STEM students. Curricular practical training is usually practical experience that you can work off campus while you're still a student. And OPT for STEM students is an additional 3 years after you graduate. So combined 4 years of experience on an F1 visa is something that is a big advantage for students seeking to study in the United States. Right? And not to mention the hundreds of thousands of technology companies, both startups and established companies, that lap up graduates after a wonderful world, global quality education. They lap up graduates to further advancements in their own companies. So there's fantastic job opportunities as well, skilled students to pick up. So while there is a cost disparity, one might wonder, what is the difference between studying in India versus studying abroad? Studying in India definitely allows a lot of benefits. I mean, you can stay in the comfort of your home, a familiar environment. I did, at least I did. Most of us stay at home and study, so you don't really go out. But even if you have to go to a hostel and stay there and study, it's not too uncomfortable because it's still in your home country and it's easy to adapt, make friends and things like that. So one might think, okay, when everything is so easy here, why should I go abroad and study? There are some very basic differences though. First, in India, the education system is very different. A lot of the students are comfortable with being spoon-fed, and that's all right. But most students study only at the end of the term. When that exam comes every 6 months, that's the only time people study. Whereas in the US or when you go to universities abroad, it's not like that. You're expected to study a little bit every day so that you can keep up with the curriculum. The amount of work, the amount of knowledge that you will gain at the end of the study period is so vast, and it wouldn't be possible for one to imbibe that much knowledge systematically if one is not diligently putting in the hours of study on a regular basis. So you must study every day to keep pace, because you'll have weekly assignments and things to turn in on which you will be graded for your final term grade, right? So it's not enough if you just study 6 months, once in 6 months. There is also, in India, there's the system of spoon feeding does not really cultivate self-reliance. Whereas when you go study abroad, there's no spoon feeding. You are expected to do a lot of the reading and the learning outside of the classroom as well. And by that, I don't mean attending parties, and that's a different kind of learning. But what I mean by that is you're spending time researching, learning from your books, using the library resources in order to learn the stuff that you want. So one has to be prepared for that transition from being spoon-fed to being a self-learner. Right? One of the things that the GRE will prepare you is for that. Our GRE app is self-paced. You'll be able to log in anytime you want and learn as much as you're able to soak in at that time, and then log off and come back when you're comfortable to do it. So when you log into a self-paced learning app like the Galvanize Test Prep app, you will learn what we mean by self-reliance and self-learning. Right, and you'll also learn to manage your time more efficiently when the onus of learning is on you rather than being spoon-fed. Also, I have had a lot of very brilliant students who go from India to study abroad to top-notch universities where, the students have done fantastic projects that have really contributed to their stellar resumes, which has gotten them admits to fantastic universities abroad. So definitely there is an advantage of being able to do that in Indian universities, but that opportunity is not necessarily available to every single student at colleges in India. One has to actively seek out those opportunities. It's difficult to come by. Many challenges will be there. the amount of resources dedicated to this kind of problem solving and project oriented work is simply not very vast. So you'll end up doing a project that you're not very interested in, but that's what is happening. So we'll end up doing that. But in the US or other foreign countries, there are so many resources and there is so much of an emphasis on self-learning and self-reliance that whatever project it is that you want to do, the resources will be made available, and you will be able to access those resources from faculty members to lab resources to books in the library to see those projects to completion without having to worry about having the right resources to study and learn what it is that you think is cutting edge. So the curriculum abroad tends to be more cutting edge compared to the curriculum here, and likewise the resources available for you to push the boundaries of that cutting edge knowledge is also much more accessible to students studying at those universities, right? So for all of these reasons, we do believe that studying abroad has definite advantages over studying in India. Although we have many successful students matriculate to fantastic universities abroad, having completed their undergraduate degrees here. So you might be wondering, now this is good. You might be in a stage in your life where you're currently either pursuing undergraduate studies, or you've graduated and you're working somewhere and you've been through this whole work from home scenario for a few years now and thinking, I really need a change. I want to travel abroad and see what it would be like if I took that leap for myself, right? And you might be interested in knowing what you will need in order to complete your application successfully. So these are the basic requirements of most applications to any of these destinations. First, you will have to get all of your transcripts ready. And honestly, the last couple of years, getting these transcripts has been a nightmare for some of our students because of the work from home situation. So if you plan on getting your transcripts ready, please start early. Contact the registrar of your university and make sure that you have one original set of transcripts. Ask them about transcripts, original or attested transcripts that they will provide you to be submitted for university applications abroad. And get at least 6 to 8 sets ready towards your applications, right? So get started on that early, especially if your colleges and your administrative offices in your colleges and universities are working from home. Right? So transcripts is something that's required. Universities will require a copy of your GRE, TOEFL or IELTS score. Most universities will require you to report your official score. Most universities will require you to report your official score, although some universities will say just give us a copy. Right? You'll be able to download a copy from the testing agency's website and send it to them, but most will require you to report it through the official agency, for which we will assist you with the test prep, right? That's what we do. We will assist you with preparing for these basic tests. Statement of purpose, again, it's another service that we provide. We have created very thoughtful forms for our students to enable our students to evaluate their own desire to study abroad and come up with insightful responses as to what are their strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are the opportunities that you seek through a higher education, and how will a higher education help you advance your career goals. Now, these are big questions. Some of you may very well have answers to all of these. Some of you may be thinking some of these things through. And our SOP forms will help you think through and understand your reason for pursuing higher education abroad. And our editors will help you articulate that persuasively towards your application so that your application stands out with the admissions committee. You will also require letters of recommendation. So If you're in college, typically our students provide letters of recommendation from college professors. So it will be a good time to start cultivating good relationships with your professors. And by that I mean not just saying good morning and being nice and smiling with them every often. Allow them to get to know you. Allow them to understand what makes you a good student in the college. So they have to be able to provide clear observations as to what kind of student you were in college and why they would recommend you for higher education abroad. And more importantly, they will have to submit your letters of recommendation before the application deadline. So you'll have to work with them to do that. And to assist you with this, we have letters of recommendation forms on our portal that you can fill out and respond to, and our editors will support you to draft out uh, coherent letters of recommendation that you can share with your recommenders and ask them if they will use that or an updated version of that to submit towards your college application. Right. So get to know your recommenders, rather allow your recommenders to get to know you so that they will support your application process, and you'll have to make sure that they support you. Your recommenders can be faculty members if that is the most recent. If you have been working for a couple of years, ideally you want recommenders um, who have supervised you at work. And if you're applying for a very intensively research-based program, ideally your recommenders have to be academic. Right? You will also need a well-written resume. Some of you probably already have one. I mean, you would have used it for everything from campus placements to, if you're working now for your current jobs. But we will help you clean up your resume to make sure that your resume looks professional and polished to be submitted to the university. Typically, a resume of a young professional would not be more than 1 or 2 pages. And oftentimes we find students sending us, 6, 7 pages of resume, and they've had barely 2 years of experience. So in those cases, we will advise you, most importantly, learn what is the most significant information you need to keep in your resume, right? First of all, you can either use information that is most current, or you can use information that is most significant in terms of showcasing your achievements as related to the program to which you're applying. Yeah. So learn to weed out any unnecessary information. Like we find that students are filling up their resumes with lots of competitions they participated in and lots of small little um, cultural activities and a whole lot of other things. So it's important to know that admissions committees don't have a whole lot of time to look through your application. They are sifting through literally thousands of applicants. So if you want your application to stand out, your resume has to be succinct, being able to highlight your core and key achievements pertaining to your intended program of study and career goals, right? So we will help you with that, but hopefully you also have a better sense of what your key achievements are, and we'll help you get them. Additionally, most applications will require a bank statement. This may be required either at the time of application, or it may be required after you receive an admit in order to receive your visa papers. Bank statements usually tend to be just immigration documents. They don't necessarily look at the bank statement to decide whether to give you an admit or not. The bank statement is only looked at in terms of your visa paperwork. Right? So you also have to submit photocopies of your passport, and finally you pay an application fee for most of your applications. But if you're looking for universities that will accept applications without an application fee, please feel free to contact us. We have a list of universities that accept applications with no application fee as well. So when you talk about deadlines and fees, the deadlines for college vary quite widely. Now, most fall applications you'll typically apply 1 year early. So if you're going to apply for fall 2022, your deadlines can be anything from November of this year, if you're applying for a high ranked program, to June of next year, right? So you have to start applying pretty early towards your application. That is for fall. And if you're applying for spring, it starts even earlier. I mean, for spring, we have students who started applying as early as March, and then applications are still going on, right? We're heading towards August, and applications are still going on, and most likely our spring students will apply till August, right? So start early, especially if you're interested in applying to Canada or Germany. There's no doubt about it. These countries have something called a numerous clauses, which means if their seats get full, they will close the application. So applicants who apply early have an advantage. University application fee ranges between $43 to $75, right? And as I said, there are also universities that don't have an application fee. You may want to use that as well. The program cost, it can range from $20,000 a year to $50,000 a year. So it's very important to be financially prepared for this cost. It's as much as it is a personal and academic journey and a professional journey, it is also a financial investment. So be aware of the cost requirements in all of these areas. So how much money you might be spending on the application fee, how much money may you be spending for 1 year of education, and how much will you also be spending on cost of living, which will be about $12,000 to $20,000 per year. So as I said, there are several universities that have an application fee waiver. This is a list of some of the universities that have an application fee waiver. So you might want to apply to these simply because they have a waiver. But some of these universities are also very well ranked, have fantastic programs. We send students to these universities regularly who are very satisfied. So think about these as well to bring down your cost a little bit. Not much. I mean, if you're spending $20,000 to $50,000 a year USD, it's still expensive, but this is still a small saving. At least $50, $100 of savings if you don't have to do an application fee, and also helps you apply without taking a big risk. There's a sense that I'm not taking a huge risk. It's a free application. Let me give it a shot. But you'll still have to submit your test scores where applicable. So documents for your application, this is typically visa documents. You'll need your visa paperwork. You'll need passport. You need CVIS payment, visa appointment letter, and confirmation email, and an acceptance letter. You will need this information only when you're ready to apply for a visa. But it's still important to know what you need to be prepared for, because you'll spend a lot of time feverishly preparing for your tests and finishing your tests and completing your SOPs and your documents and submitting your application. Once it's done, your admission results will come anything from 2 weeks after submitting your application to 3 months after you submit your application. So you might not be fully prepared to do some of the steps if you're not aware of the requirements. So here in advance, we are telling you, in order to apply for a visa, what are some of the documents you might need. So you'll need a passport, and you'll need a valid passport, which has your appropriate first name and your last name, date of birth, and expiry date is also important. Right? Your passport should not expire anytime soon. And you'll need the passport even to do your GRE or TOEFL or IELTS. You'll need a passport for that. So get your passport ready if you don't already have one in order to even do your tests. You'll definitely need your passport for a visa. Beyond that, you'll need, for US visas, you need a CVIS payment. confirmation of visa appointment, that is proof that you have booked your appointment, your I-20, which is the immigration document sent to you by the university, and an acceptance letter. And financial documents are very, very important. And there are many ways in which students fund their studies. Right, the most basic way a student funds their study is, parents. So most common that we see is parents are sponsoring the student. If the parents are sponsoring the student, in that case, students will have to provide a bank statement and an affidavit of support from the parent. And the bank statement should state that there is at least sufficient funds for 1 year of tuition and living expenses. And usually liquid funds is cash deposits in banks, right? And not everybody has that kind of cash deposit sitting in the bank all the time. So you'll have to give your parents advance notice in order to get that cash deposit. Another way students fund their studies is loans. And loans are advantageous in many ways. First of all, your parents will not have to liquidate their assets to show that 1 year of funds in your bank account, right? Rather, you would take a loan approval letter from your bank and show that loan approval letter as sufficient funds for 1 year of tuition and living expenses and any additional years thereof, depending on the amount of loan availed to you. And another advantage of using the loan is the loan comes with tax benefits. If you're a taxpayer in India, then you will be able to claim tax deductions for that loan amount. If the loan is in the name of your parents will be able to claim the tax deduction, right? So inquire more about the loan as being an option, because as I said, not everybody has $20,000 to $50,000 liquid cash sitting in their bank accounts. And a loan may be a great way for you to show that liquid funds, but also a great way for you to avail the tax benefits afforded to you by that loan in order to offset some of your costs, right? Other than that, of course, finally, you'll need all of your academic work as well. At the end of the day, you have to show that you're going there to study and not just to be traveling abroad idly. For an F1 visa, you have to show that you're a bona fide student and an academic, that you're adequately prepared to study what you're going to study by proving that through your mark sheets and your test scores as well, right? So these are the 3 types of documents that will be assessed for your visa. Your authenticity of acceptance from the university, your ability to financially support yourself through your education, and finally your academic qualification to succeed in the program of study. So these are documents that you need to start preparing from the beginning and start thinking about it early enough so that there are no surprises that throw you off at any point in your study abroad journey. So the visa application is quite easy to the United States. It's simple 4 steps. We have detailed instructions on how to do this on our portal. We have many students right now who are applying for visas and getting our guidance for this as well. And several students who have successfully received their visas, we are happy to report, because it's been such a difficult year of consulate closures and embassy closures. So very happy to report that our students have been successfully receiving their visas. And it's very simple 4-step process to get a US visa. You make the CVIS fee payment, you fill up a DS 160 application. Once the application is filled, you make the payment for the visa and schedule a visa appointment and appear for your biometrics and interview on 2 different days. So it's very simple. We have detailed instructions on this available for you to use in our portal to help you succeed in your visa journey as well. So these are some other visa details. We'll be able to share more information with you on that during your visa journey. So what is the smart thing to do right now? Use your time wisely, whether you're in college or you're a working professional or simply exploring various options. Use your time wisely, because you're young. these days will not come back. And you don't want to wake up in your 40s and say, oh my God, what did I do with my youth? Why did I waste so much time while the world has, advanced? So please use your youth and your time wisely. Be safe and use our 100% online services. Uh, GRE, TOEFL exams, they are both available to take from home. So you can prepare for these exams using our apps and take the exams from the comfort of your home as well. So you have all the resources that you need within your own comfort zone to take advantage of, right? And many people are thinking, oh God, are there enough jobs? Are there going to be enough jobs? Nothing. We know that a lot of IT companies are hiring now, and a lot of IT companies are looking to hire freshers as well. So definitely there is a lot picking up in the market, but things are still extremely competitive because we have a lot of people who have been affected by the pandemic, and IMF recently slashed growth rates for India as well, and global economies are shutting and opening depending on which variant of the pandemic virus is affecting home, right? So graduate degree is a good time for you to ride out your doubts and any skills that you feel you need to pick up in order to be successful in the future. So earn a graduate degree, upskill yourself, and be prepared for when the economy opens up. Things will move so fast, and things are already moving very fast online. There's no doubt about it. But when the economy, world global economy opens up 100%, things will move much faster. So you need to be ready for that with an advanced degree in your hand that offers you the cutting edge knowledge you need to ride out the advances of the future. And some of you may wonder, okay, if I apply now but decide that my job offer is fantastic and I don't really want to go immediately, what should I do? In that case, you can even defer the admit. You've applied, you've been successful in your application, you really got your dream admit as well, but at the same time, your employer is making you an offer that you can't forego. In that case, you can have the best of both worlds. You have applied and got the dream admit. Your job employer can keep you. You can just write to the university and say, for the following reasons, I'm not able to attend this year, but I would like to defer my admit to the subsequent year. And then try and see what you get, right? You have the important thing is applying to universities and applying to study abroad opens up a plethora of opportunities and options for you that if you do not take that risk, you will miss out, right? So be open-minded and try to keep your options open. So we have several success stories. We have Prince Kansagra from SRM University in Katan Kulatur, who's received admits to these universities, and he's very, very happy. I mean, he gives a big shout out to one of our counselors, Aarti ma'am. She helped me select universities based on my interests in my field and provided me constant guidance throughout my process. And we've helped him with his university selection, with all of his documentation, mock interviews for his visas, and today he's very happy, happily visa approved and raring to go. We have Madhurima Chatterjee, who's been admitted to Florida State University and University of Texas, Dallas. They have a clear idea of what universities are looking for, in particular in a student statement of purpose, right? A statement of purpose is a very important document where we are able to differentiate one student from another student based on the student's individual and original life journey. Each one of us has a different story to tell, and our SOPs are able to bring out that unique aspect of your journey to showcase to an admissions committee that's reviewing thousands of applications. So the SOP is almost like an advertorial for the student. Right, we have Trishala Venkatesh from CMR Institute of Technology, who's admitted to some of the top universities in the world: Georgia Tech and NYU, University of Maryland, Drexel. These are all the top-notch technology schools um, for our tech, for our STEM students, and we are very, very happy to report that we were able to help her succeed in her choices. So, how can Galvanize help you achieve your dream admit? So, as I said, we help you with your test prep, your GRE, IELTS, TOEFL, and SAT. We assist you with admissions counseling, whether it is undergraduate studies you want to do, or MS, or MBA, or PhD, whatever your goal is as far as advancing your education and learning as well as your profession. We will help you apply to those universities. And of course, we have loan services, forex services. So these are all services that we offer to help you complete your study abroad journey. So these are some of the prices and costs that are associated with us. So just like you have a cost associated with your tuition to the university, which ranges between 20,000 to 50,000 per year, we also have costs associated with the products and services that we offer to help you. We have several GRE products. Most of these products will give you a personalized study plan, a full-length mock test, 30 plus hours of video lessons, 2,000 practice questions, a dedicated course manager, unlimited Ask an Expert, and more. Right? Now you have to determine how much time you're going to need to prepare for your GRE. So we have the 45-day package, the 90-day package, the 180-day package, and the 360-day package. So all of these packages are designed for how quickly you are going to take the test, or how much time you're willing to spend in order to take the test. If you're going to apply right away for the fall, if you're going to apply for the spring admissions, then you should consider the 45-day package. But if you're going to apply for the fall admission, you still have time. They're only in July. You can go for the 90-day package if you want, but still a 45-day package will help you manage your time better in terms of getting other aspects of your journey ready as well. So 45-day package will be good, but you may be able to use the 90-day package as well for your fall 2020 to fall 2022 admissions. And if you're applying to semesters beyond that, you can choose the 180-day package or the 360-day package. So the TOEFL we offer, again, TOEFL is an English language test, or the IELTS likewise is an English language test. It tests you on a few parameters, which is speaking, writing, reading, and listening. And all universities expect that students coming from India and other, non-native English-speaking countries like India, they expect you to show that you have good grasp of spoken, written, reading, and writing aspect of the language in order to be able to succeed in college. So we offer personalized, again, study plans for this, full-length mock tests, dedicated course manager, and unlimited Ask an Expert. Typically, all you will need is, less than 4 weeks to prepare for the TOEFL, and the TOEFL is usually valid for about 2 years. So if you are going to apply, that is, your TOEFL test has to be valid on the day that you register for classes at your university. Right? So plan your TOEFL accordingly. Your GRE is valid for 5 years, but your TOEFL will be valid only for 2 years. Plan accordingly. All the TOEFL or IELTS needs is about 4 weeks of preparation, or less even, if you're more comfortable with the language. So Galvanize Admissions Counseling Services, we will do an onboarding call where you will get a profile evaluation based on the profile form that you submit. We do a very thorough analysis of all of the data points that you provide with regards to your preparation so far towards higher education, and based on the profile evaluation call and your input on the profile form, we will help you shortlist universities. Now, the US has literally thousands of programs to choose from. UK has hundreds of programs to choose from. So often the dilemma for students is, where do I apply? We remove that stress from you because we have such a good understanding of the industry and of how university admissions work that we look at your profile, match it to the best, ambitious, practical, and safe universities that are ideal for you, and we remove that stress from you, give you a list that you can prepare your documentation for. And we offer you assistance with that as well. We assist you with drafting your SOPs, LORs, and resumes in order to create a very persuasive application that helps you stand out from thousands of other applicants by sharing your unique individual journey to the admissions committee and emphasizing why you're the ideal candidate for admissions to that university. Right? We offer you guidance through our loan partners. We offer you guidance on how to finance your education. As I said, many students opt for personal funds, but loans are a great option because of the tax benefits as well as the liquidity factors. And we will guide you with your visas to make sure that we are able to see you through your journey. Now there is a cost associated with admissions counseling as well. We have 3 different packages for this. Majority of our students are for that MS package, where we have a lot of students who want to study graduate programs in STEM fields. Use the MS package. We have a package that's 39,999. We have students who apply for doctorate programs. Now that involves a little bit more in-depth work in terms of drafting research statements, coming up with a strategy to contact potential supervisors. There are many universities that will want you to have an endorsed supervisor before you apply, so you'll have to have a strategy for that. So the doctorate package is more expensive. It's 64,999. And of course, MBA programs are very popular among our students. The competition for MBA programs are stiff. Most competitive programs across destinations, but particularly the United States MBA programs are very, very popular. A lot of MBA programs in the US that are very popular also tend to be very quantitatively driven, right? So when you prepare your USA will accept both GMAT and GRE for your MBA programs, and the GRE part, they want to make sure you have a good quant inclination, but also a very good verbal inclination, because MBAs will require students to make presentations, write papers, work in groups. Those are all things that are more, I would say, because it's a more demanding on the communication skills side when it comes to MBA programs. You'll have to be prepared for all of that as well. So our standard features in these packages involve in-depth profile analysis, shortlisting of 12 universities, letters of recommendation helping you with your statement of purpose and essays, financial guidance, and expert visa counseling. And then there are exclusive features we have with some other admissions counseling packages, which is our MS and MBA exclusive packages. The MS package exclusive is 99,999 and MBA is 1,49,999. And both these packages, students get to work with me directly so that I will be able to facilitate some of the more difficult aspects of applying to highly competitive programs and universities. So students who are applying to highly competitive programs need more assistance, and therefore they get to work directly with me. So this is our team at Galvanize Test Prep. Our founder, Pavitra Srinivasan, she has an MS from Stanford University. And we have Sriram Venkatraman from a BTech from IIT Madras. Myself, you've already met. Rohini Venkatesh, she has an MBA from University of North Texas. Jayanti Ramakrishnan, PhD from University of Tennessee. Soumya Subramaniam, MS San Jose State University, and Lata Boja, University of Greenwich. So we are very happy to present to you and bring to you the wonderful experience of all of these accomplished professionals to help you advance your journey as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time. And if we run out of time, please make a note of these numbers that are available to you on your screen, and also our contact information, our email address and websites. And I'm ready to take any questions you may have. Thank you for attending the presentation today.
Thank you so much, Divya, for such a exhaustive presentation. So what I'll do is I'll start taking questions from the YouTube live session which students have asked, and then you can go on to answer them. Okay?
Yes, thanks, Ashish.
So sure. So the first question is from Ajay Singh, and he's asking that is a 3-year graduation accepted in USA?
There are several universities that will accept a 3-year graduate degree. It's not accepted uniformly. There are certain universities that will give it. There are certain select universities that will accept it. So yes, 3-year degrees are accepted by select universities in the United States.
Okay. Another question is from Sushant, and he's asking that is GRE score above 300 good for a PhD?
Now, PhD student, I mean, your GRE score is definitely a predictor of whether you'll get into a program or not. But a PhD applicant is essentially, when they apply for a PhD, most students have to get in with funding. If you're applying without funding, it would be very difficult for a student to complete their research. So when universities give you funding, they're supporting your research either through a research funding, a scholarship, or a teaching assistantship. Now, when you're applying for funding, the more competitive your scores are, the better for you. Because when an individual looks at his or her score, they're only looking at his or her score. But when an admissions committee looks at test scores, they are looking at an applicant for PhD applicants, usually there's probably under 1,000 applicants. But that's still a lot of applications to go through. So the highest priority a PhD applicant will receive is for their research. What research have they done in the past? What has been the significance and success of the research that the student has already completed? And what kind of questions is the student asking in the future? And how are those questions related to what the faculty members at the university are probing? That is the most important aspect of a PhD application. And remember, I said to you that some programs will require supervisory approval prior to applying. So you might have to share your research ideas with the supervisor and see, hey, would you be willing to work with me? If the supervisor agrees to work with you, then you have a good chance of getting in with funding. So these are all big hurdles to cross, and definitely the test score is also one of those hurdles to cross. So yes, higher your score, the better your chance, but the package is looked at holistically.
Okay. I have another question from Prithiv, and the question is that I took my GRE and I got a score of 305. I'm planning to retake it, but since some of the universities are waiving off GRE, so what should I do?
Fantastic question. And I have to tell you a story about one of my fantastic students. I mean, he's such an accomplished chartered accountant, applied to MBA programs, and just a little bit shy of taking the GMAT. He took the GMAT, didn't get quite the desired score, so he took advantage of this no GRE requirement. right? No GRE requirement for MBA programs during the recent intake, and he got all rejects. It broke our hearts to see that. So while I want to say, yes, go ahead and take advantage of that and apply, I also would want to caution you of such an outcome. Because it's possible. The world is getting more and more competitive. The more achievements you show, the better. The admissions committee wants to see that you are someone who will be able to take initiative to succeed. So if there is a student who's taken a GRE whose profile is very similar to yours, and a student and one person who's not taken the GRE, who do you think the admissions committee is going to prefer? So I would say keep that in mind. At the end of the day, admissions is very competitive and very relative. Universities want the creme de la creme in their universities because they want to show high success rates. They want to have highly successful alumni who give back to the university. This is how that whole economic funnel works. Right? So, as I said, back to my student who broke our hearts. I mean, we worked so hard on their applications, but there was just one little caveat. University said submitting GRE or GMAT scores is optional, so he didn't submit it. Now, that doesn't have to happen for all students. It doesn't. Because there are many universities that don't require the GRE at all. And to those you may successfully apply. But when the university says GRE is optional because of the pandemic, and ETS has made GRE possible to be taken from home, there's less of an excuse for a student to not submit that. And a high achieving student is going to submit that. You have to assume that a high achieving student is going to submit a GRE because they're automatically high achieving. Right? You can take the more laid back approach and say, I don't want to work that hard. Are there universities that will accept me without a GRE? I will say yes. So you have to just be very, very careful in your university selection if you're going ahead without a GRE. I hope that answers your question.
Great. Thank you so much for answering that question. So actually we are running out of time, but we have, just a couple of minutes left. So the last question that I see is Duolingo accepted for fall 22?
It is not by all schools, but many schools, because of the pandemic, they are accepting the Duolingo as well. There's an increase. There has been an increase in acceptance of the Duolingo over the last pandemic years.
Great. Okay, so I have one more question. The question is that what's the difference between Galvanize and GyanDhan program? So I would just like to answer this question. That
Yes.
As you saw during the presentation, Galvanize will help you throughout the application process to secure admission in a university abroad. And when that admission is secured at GyanDhan, we can help you fund the loan for that education journey that you're going for. So this is the difference between Galvanize and GyanDhan. Okay. So I don't see any more questions. So Divya, thank you so much for joining us for this session. I really hope that students have learned a lot about their journey, and if any of you guys need any help further regarding your process, you can reach out to us at GyanDhan. We can connect you to the Galvanize team, and also Divya has also shared numbers here. You can also approach them. So thank you so much for the session. See you again next time.
Thank you so much, Ashish. Thanks for having us, and see you next time as well.
Same here, Divya. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.